All right, what's up, everybody? I am with Steve Kiles. We're going to be talking about how to get buyers and sellers off the fence in this market. Steve has 4 of the most common objections, and he's got some talking points that he's seeing from loan officers in the market. So, Steve, before we get after it, I've interviewed you a lot. You've interviewed me a lot.
Yeah.
I know you're in the Houston market, but I also know you're a leader of the marketing animals. So let's just start with a little bit on what you're working on right now, and then what you're seeing in the market.
Yeah. Hey, well, Dave, it's always good to be here, man. Thank you for just great conversation and being such an industry leader. Your voice is so powerful in helping to encourage and equip loan officers and branch managers and owners through what you're doing with the Mortgage Coach and Trust Engine and Sales Boomerang. And so you guys are definitely leaders, and just appreciate your friendship, man. I loved our time together in Houston a few weeks ago. That was great. Well, and that's what really spawned what we're going to talk about today, which is how to get buyers and sellers off the fence. So I've been in the business 21 years. I've got a local team that produces, but also have been building a national branch in the best environment we've ever seen over the last 2 years.
Yeah, right.
So it's been great. And then I'm also a partner with Carl White over at the Marketing Animals with all we do there. And so, man, it's just a lot of fun, but in the day-to-day. And so our goal is to help our loan officers and branch managers in this industry is really have a great talking points. Dave, one of the things that I find is if you can have good talking points that are relevant to the market, you can be the thought leader and help lead others around you. So much of what we see is doom and gloom, and it's the sky is falling. I was looking at headlines the other day, and if you read them the way they're published, it's like, dude, my gosh, what's happening in the marketplace? But we know the MBA Mortgage Bankers Association published a report. This is like the, 6th best purchase money market since 2002. And when you look at it, you got so many naysayers over here that say it's negative, everything's fallen, everything's crashing. And then you got this side that says, look at all the opportunity. And when you attack the negative talking points with actual data and information, you can remove the emotion of it being negative and help them see, man, it's actually the right time to buy. If I were buying, I'd buy now. And, Dave, it was funny. It came out of when you were in Houston, at the Houston Mortgage Bankers, you kept saying, man, speed to the need, like speed to the lead used to be powerful. And you said, I think I got one more above it. And it was speed to the need. And so it was just out of those talking points, we started building this up. So, hey, and so, one of the things I would just say, Dave, and I'll just dive in if you're good with that. 4 things, but here's what I want to encourage our listeners. Number one, it's not your fault. You didn't know. And the challenge is when you hear so much negative, it's almost pushing upstream. You didn't know, so it's not your fault. But here's what I'll tell you, it's going to be okay. And today I'm going to help you with the talking points to overcome fear and anxiety and give your clients. And when I say clients, I'm not just talking about your buyers, but also agents, because agents need to know it's going to be okay. And it's not their fault, but they just didn't know what to say. So here's what we typically hear, Dave. And you talked a little bit about some of these items in your presentation in Houston. And I just went a little bit deeper, pulled some of Barry's stuff, researched some of my own stuff, and kind of put it together. But what we hear in the marketplace, Dave, is number one, you'll hear people say, I'm reluctant to give up a low rate to move up. It's just, hey, Dave, why would I give up a low rate to move up? Here's number 2. I'm going to wait, Dave, till rates come down. And here's the challenge is it's like, man, these are right talking points, but it's not the right information. Here's number 3. I'm going to wait for housing prices to come down. And number 4 is we typically see in most markets a hesitancy for buyers to pay over ask. And so I'm going to start with the first one.
Hey,
and
time out. So anyone listening to this, what are other common objections? Steve just laid out 4 of the most common objections. And I do agree that when it comes to fence sitters, whether we're trying to get someone to list their home and move up, like that person who's reluctant to give up that low interest rate, that's someone in that camp. I do think there is a fair amount of folks that are just kind of debating rent versus own.
Yeah.
And then one of the most common objections, it's not the fence sitter, but it's like, oh, I can get a better interest rate.
Yeah.
Hey, my credit union's offering me 0.5% better. What else? Like, guys, what else are all the top objections? So Steve, let's knock out your top 4. I just want to get the community shared down below, whether you're in YouTube or whether you're watching this live in Facebook. Let us know, what are your biggest objections you're hearing in the market today?
Hey, and I love that, because what we'll do is we'll go back through those objections and then help build rebuttals to overcome those objections. So that'd be fun, man. Hey, well, in Dave, we were talking in Houston, you did your presentation. It was interesting. I went back and started looking at the basic information that I try to arm myself with. Okay, what are the 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of talking points that I can use over and over and over and over in many conversations? And here's something that I found interesting. The average homeowner has $274,000 of equity in their home. That's awesome. Based on the markets, based on increasing values. Here's the next one. Did you know that the average family or household, Dave, has $96,371 in consumer debt? So they got 200.
It's pretty shocking. Yeah, no, it's really $1 trillion in total consumer debt, and it's never been more expensive because interest rates are going up. So
yeah, well, it's like 18. You're seeing credit cards at 22, 23. Heck, I saw somebody's credit card the other day at 27%. And so when you know that the average family who owns a home has $274,000 in equity, and the average family has $96,000 in consumer debt, there's an opportunity. And what you said really stirred a lot of things when you said speed to the need. So part of our talking points is understanding the opportunity. Here's the other thing. I love this talking point as well. I know the rates last week hit this as an average. I think it was 7.75 on a conventional loan. But the average interest rate, when people start talking about rates, Dave, and they're like, rates are high, what I'm known for in the industry is really helping with the scripting. And I love to say, based on what? Hey, rates are high, Dave. Based on what? And then you listen to it, and most of it's nonsense and it's things that isn't really factual, but you can go back, and here's another talking point. Since 1971, the average mortgage interest rate was 7.74%. So we're right now sitting up or down, barely above and below the average. And so, we heard people said, hey, I'm going to wait for rates to come down. Really, based on what? How do you know rates are going to come down? Did you know that since 1971, the average mortgage interest rate was 7.74%? Well, no, I didn't know that. Hey, well, let me ask you this. Do you have a house to sell? I do. How much equity you have? I know that the average homeowner right now has about $274,000. Well, I got 150. Awesome. Hey, well, listen, I know the average American household has about $96,000 in debt. How much debt do you currently have? And what you're doing is it's uncovering the need, but based on the factual information, we know the average home has $274,000 in equity, $96,000 in debt. The average mortgage rate's 7.74%. So these talking points, Dave, they just start us having a real educated conversation, because what we want to do is overcome these objections of, why do you want to wait? Well, hey, listen, I want to wait because I don't want to give up a low rate to move up. Hey, and we talked about this earlier. I had a client of mine, and Dave, this is where things like the TCA and the power of the mortgage coach are so powerful. I had a buddy of mine, multiple past client, called me, and his name's Heath. He said, hey, Steve, listen, I'm thinking about buying a house, but man, I just can't stand to give up that 2.75% rate, which we helped him get. And I said, well, Heath, tell me what you're trying to do. And he said, well, look, I'm trying to buy a $700,000 house. And I said, all right, $700,000 house. Okay, let's talk about that. And he said, well, I love my low interest rate, but I don't want to give up my low interest rate. I want to buy a $700,000 house, but I don't want to give it up. Here's the next thing we know right now, Dave. On average, we're seeing home appreciation at about 5.8%. So some areas it may be more, some areas it may be less. And here's what I helped him understand is, even if he gave up a low interest rate today, if he waits 12 months, That $700,000 house, Dave, is going to cost him $40,000 more to purchase. So that $700,000 house today is going to cost him between $740 and $750. And although preserving the low interest rate may help him in the short run, he may spend what, $500-$600 more a month to be able to buy now, as opposed to waiting and hoping rates come down. And so, Dave, I think that's why it's so important to know some of this information, like the average appreciation over these last 12 months has been 5.8%. And here's what's interesting too, Dave. When we look at home values going up, Barry shared something the other day. It was, man, it came from the Case-Shiller report, and it was showing that since 1942, that not mortgages, but home values have actually gone up 73 times, and they've only declined 7. And what's crazy, Dave, is 5 of the 7 were from the crash of 2007 to 2011. So you're talking about, if you're betting the odds of, will my values go up? Will the house I'm looking at today go up in 12 months because I'm waiting on rates to come down, which they may not come down? You're going to pay a significant amount more 12 months from now than you will now.
Yeah. No, something that was going through my head while you were talking about this is, triangulating for trust is always a best practice when it comes to, building relationships, trying to find a common person that, referred and triangulate for trust. And I was hearing you talk, and I was thinking triangulate for need. Like you were triangulating for need. And in this market, guys, that's never been more important. And it's also never been more important that when we think about the amount of consumer debt that people have, people always just think, oh, debt consol refis, equity lines of credit. And by the way, guys, those are great products. And I would just tell you right now, I've interviewed enough heads of production for Consumer Direct. They're doing like 3 to 5 times more the debt consol than distributed retail. And not because they know more of these people, it's because they're really looking for opportunities. They're looking for debt, they're looking for equity. But I just want everybody to start thinking about, every pre-approval that you do, you need to triangulate for need, and you need to look at the full balance sheet of that customer. I did an interview recently where the recommendation of the loan officer was, hey, let's sell that home. Take all your equity off the table. Let's use some of that equity to pay off debt. Let's use some of that equity to buy your new home. And you know what? The realtor got a listing, the realtor got a sale, and it was a total home run because the mortgage professional triangulated for need. Yeah. So love what you're doing.
Hey, well, and Dave, I tell you that it goes back to being a modern mortgage advisor, which you talk about all the time. The key is this: when you uncover that you're a professional, and it's our job to help them build. I call it, a clear mortgage plan. And so when I'm building a clear mortgage plan, oftentimes when someone can sell their existing home, take the equity, pay off debt, put less money down, they're in a better position because the mortgage interest is actually tax deductible. And so it puts them just in a much better spot. But so look, we go back and we say, hey, I've got a reluctance to give up low rates. Oftentimes, what we'll find out is the average rate. And so I think this is a talking point. Since 1971, the average mortgage rate was 7.74%. Are rates likely to go down? It's really a crapshoot because we know right now they're sitting at the averages. Here's what we do know is that if you'll buy now, you'll actually save the increased property appreciation over the next 12 months. And somebody may say, Dave, well, how do you know that the value is going to appreciate? Listen to this. And this was some of the research I did after you and I met. Check it out. U.S. News did a massive report. That's the Bank of America. They did this huge survey and U.S. News published it. 67% of millennials, that's 72 million, Dave, said that they will be in the market to buy a house in the next 24 months. Dude, that's massive. And so when somebody says, hey, I think values may come down, well, there's a couple of things we know. First off, Values have gone up 73 times since 1942. The biggest drop happened in the crash of 07 to 2011, which was an absolute anomaly. Here's the second thing is, if 67% of millennials, which there are 72 million, plan to be in the market to buy the home over the next 24 months, do you think appreciation is going to continue, or is it going to go negative? And we know the answer to that is inventory is going to go light. Values are going to continue to be pressed higher. And when they get pressed higher, that means that you're in a good spot. And now is the right time to buy.
Yeah. And
I look at it. You pulled up a graph, man. Show that.
Yeah. I just wanted to call that out. I mean, calling out the 72/73 million millennials.
Yeah.
But look at this. It's a little wave.
Yeah.
That, like, as we speak, ideal purchase price are coming into home buying. So
that's it, man.
I just wanted to call that out from a data perspective.
Well, and it goes back to what you hear people say is, hey, I'm waiting for house prices to come down. Well, again, I loved it. It's the challenger sell. Hey, Dave, what makes you think home values are coming down? And then you listen to it, and most of it is just fluff and nonsense. And then when you could say, hey, here's another great script. Are you open to my professional opinion? And then start rolling out the factual data. 67% of millennials will be in the market to buy the home in the next 12 to 24 months. Since 1942, values have gone up 73 times. And I wouldn't bet against the champ. Here's the other one too, Dave. Another great talking point. Inventory is down 38% from 2019. And what we've got to know is when inventory is down, demand is high, values will continue to go up. And so it's a great way to overcome that objection. I'm waiting on house prices to come down. And it also leads to why it's okay to pay over ask right now. Because some people may say, I literally just saw I had some friends buying houses, and it was interesting. They all paid over ask. Why? Because there is a demand in the marketplace, but their confidence is, look, I know the appreciation and what I'm paying over ask today will be made up in the first 12 months. And so I think you can overcome it, because if somebody's in a position of, I've got to buy, I'm relocating, being relocated, change jobs, change schools, change location, and now needs to be the time to buy, we can give them the right information that appreciation will overtake what they're paying over ask. And here's the documents and data, not just fear mongering through the news. And so
let me walk through a process and just add some scripting that I've had from some of the interviews I've done recently. So first of all, this data point is, call it macroeconomic data point. And anytime you're referring to like national averages, think of that as macro. Hey, in the macro, here's data. And then to really help people get off the fence, regardless of what the obstacle is, you've got to triangulate for need. And so, this is the goal, guys: clarity and confidence. Now, this is a first-time home buyer. So for first-time home buyers, if it was someone that is a current homeowner, it'd be clarity and confidence to help them. Again, what is their need? If they have credit card debt and they have equity and they have a desire to have a different home, we just triangulated for a need. Now let's see. But in this particular case, it was a first-time home buyer, and they were in that camp of, oh, what's going to happen to values? What's going to happen to interest rates? And they were not clear and confident. But the mortgage professional triangulated for need. And it was the first-time home buyer that, one, wanted to own their future. They wanted to control a piece of property. And two, it was about investment. They're like, oh, I want to get in as young as I can because of the future. So what they did was they focused on, hey, you could buy this 3-bedroom house. You could rent out 3 of the bedrooms for $625. You could invest that $625, because this was someone that had enough money that they could debt service it. But they looked at it, and then they showed that $625 times 2, what's that, $1,250. If you took that and invested it, what would be your net worth in 5 years? So the need was young, wants to buy a home and get in. Well, they could. They did a little date the rate, marry the house. So like, hey, you can buy now, we can refinance this, and look at your net worth in 5 years. So I just wanted to show this sequence of going from macro to micro to personalization around the consumer's needs. And like this is the
Love
formula,
it.
guys. This is
Yeah.
the formula going from macro data to personalized data.
Man, well, and it's so powerful because Dave, what you're doing is you're going against the grain of today's talking points, and the talking points in the open marketplace is not positive. And the reality is, I think it's hurting consumers who are on the fence, who still have to buy in the next 12 to 24 months. But because of the fear and lack of data and lack of education and lack of a clear mortgage plan, they're making decisions that'll actually adversely impact their finances. So, hey, Dave, look, I'll share this real quick. For those of you who are on this, let me just show you, here are the 4 challenges we face. It's the reluctance to give up low rate, waiting on rates to come down, waiting on prices to come down, and then hesitancy to pay over ask. So you guys can take a screenshot of
Go
this.
back to that real quick.
Yeah.
Go back to that. I want to
Yeah.
see like, okay, boom. Okay. And then,
Yeah.
by the way, are you going to share these little slides with us?
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Hey,
for it.
no, this is perfect. We've created it for our loan officers to be able to do it with their agents and presentations. And so we'll send it to you, Dave, and you can send it out to them. Hey, so
We'll
here's
have the link down below, everybody. There'll
Yeah,
be a
that's
link
great.
to this in show notes.
So here's what it is, just so you see the talking points as well. The average homeowner has $274,000 in equity. The average household has $96,371 in consumer debt. Here's the average interest rate since 71. Hey, and one thing most people forget about too, and it may or may not be as big a deal, but man, property taxes continue to rise. And until it's a homestead, you're still stuck at what that county says your home is worth. Here's another one, waiting on rates to come down. I love this right here. Most people, they don't realize that, look, some people say, Dave, hey, I know rates are in the 7s. I'm waiting for them to come down to 6s. And a perfect example is this, a 1% lower interest rate on a $400,000 house saves $250 a month, $3,000 a year. But listen this, Dave, on a $400,000 house, I'm waiting on rates to come down with bad information. You ask them why, or based on what, they don't know. I just think it's got to come down. Well, not necessarily when the average has been 7.74% since 1971. But if you wait 12 months with an average appreciation of 5.8%, you'll actually pay $23,200 more. So you're trying to save $3,000, but pay $23,000 more. And so that's what I think is so powerful. And you could show that through the Mortgage Coach as well. Hey,
time out.
Yep.
I want to stop sharing the screen because I want to make this a lesson as much as I can. So remember, there's macro.
Yep.
And what he just showed on that is the macro. And then the micro is, hey, make it based off their house, like, hey, based off of your house.
Dude, I love it.
Based off of your appreciation rate, like, hey, national is this, guys, whatever local market you're in, you should know the local number. And then there's the personal. What do you think it will be? And then guys, this is the ultimate data point. And like, I love your slides, and I would propose for all the key objections that you're addressing, you use what Steve just showed you, and you have a template. So whatever the objections you're overcoming, the problem statement, he averages about 4 bullet points.
Yep.
And then have, hey, the micro, the personal, where you're showing the consumer with points, no points, and then this is the date, the rate. You're always showing that, hey, what do you think rates are going to go down and when? And we got you. So I just want to make sure you guys are following this through. And I do think you should, have these slides, but have the TCA. When I interviewed Sean Herrero 2 weeks ago, he had just got done presenting to, I think, 185 realtors. And I think a combination, like, I guarantee if he saw this interview, he would have loved how you're breaking it down. And then he would have, that would have been the frame. And then we would have been the story. And then here's the other thing, guys, why the micro, the TCA is so important. That's how you're going to get leads. Yeah. You're going to be, you're literally, after you macro, personal, and then you go, you know what? I would love to do this for your next buyer and personalize this for them so they can see exactly what it means to them based off what they believe rates are going to do, what they believe values are going to do based on their needs. I'll put one of these together for them. So I think you'll get more leads if you do that. Anyways, number 3.
Hey, well, Dave, couple things on that. So when you just said that, you'll get more leads too if you ask. And I love how you just said it. Who do you, and I would encourage you to really say, who do you have today? And then insert what you want to do that I could help give them a clear mortgage plan and show them how to utilize a mortgage to continue building wealth. But who do you have today? And then insert in whatever it is, however you want to ask. But Dave, here's what we know. What makes loan officers millionaires is whoever makes the most offers, gets the most no's, makes the most money. And so I love the fact that you're able to go macro, micro. And here's what I would do too. Dave, it's remarkable how many agents need to be encouraged with the right information, because Dave, what they're hearing is these 4 objections over and over and over again. And Dave, they don't even know how to overcome it. All they say is, okay, well, when you're ready to sell, let me know. When you're ready to buy, let me know. And so even using this will help you. Hey, and one other thing too, when you do a realtor presentation, one of the things, if somebody were to say, Steve, what do you wish you would have known last year? Make sure that when you do a presentation, you have a desired result. So book an appointment, follow-up appointment with qualified agents at that training or at your realtor event, because here's what we know. If they're doing 8 or more buy-side transactions, they've got the opportunity to really refer you even more. So make sure they're qualified agents. But when you do the presentation, go after the ones that are still qualified, not the onesie-twosies. So, all right, here we go. We're going to go into, let's do this one right here. So, okay. Here's what we saw too. And this was, I love this, waiting on house prices to come down. Here's your couple of talking points. It's 1942. Values have gone up 73% or 73 times and only declined 7. And one of the times was 0. So don't bet against the champ. Inventory's down 38% from 2019. And here's that amazing stat about millennials and that they're really aggressively starting to get into market to buy, which means inventory is still going to be a challenge, which will continue to cause house prices to rise. Anything to add on that one?
I just think you need to share this data, and then with total curiosity, ask them, what do you think is going to happen? And when rates start coming down, what do you think? You think there's going to be more demand for housing? So I just think it's share the data and then ask them questions with no pressure and pure curiosity, and then take what they think is going to happen, and then show them what that means to
on
them.
The micro level.
This is what this means to you. Dollarize it, quantify it, and really help them. That's how they're going to make confident decisions. Yeah. And here's the deal: confident buyers write confident offers. I got that from Sean Herrero on Saturday. Yeah. I interviewed him, and guys, clear and confident pre-approvals and buyers make confident offers, and confident offers win the deal in this market. So it's never been more important that we personalize this so it becomes personal.
Yeah, great stuff, man. Yeah. Hey, well, it made me think of something I say all the time is that, hey, Dave, somebody say, hey, Steve, what are you known for? I'm known for helping my agents make even more money. Yeah. And you know why? Because we help confident buyers make confident offers.
There you go.
So that's it, man. I love it. Okay. Hey, so let's do this one. This was the, I'm going to breeze through this. It'll be in the PowerPoint, but this is something I saw Barry share through the Case Schiller. But look, here's what it is. When you have a hesitancy to pay over, ask, really the reminder is appreciation's at 5.8%. Inventory may be a future potential challenge, and rates matter less than most people think, because when you got debt, you got equity, take the equity, pay off the debt, move up, put less down, and you're actually in a much better cash flow position. So here's the last, it's the 4 talking points. Hey, one thing, and let me just encourage everybody, Dave, with the thing that I would really encourage people is today you get the opportunity to make your own market, and it goes to having the right plan and then having the right process to execute that plan that gives you a desired result, a proven result. And so I want to encourage you, take the talking points, really internalize them, and I think it'll help you have even more success. So there you go, brother.
Hey, before we wrap up today's conversation, did you watch any of the interviews I did on Moneyball? Have you
I did,
watched?
man. Well, hey, Jim, and it was with Jim Deitch.
Yeah.
Dude, here's the thing, bro, that was solid. And you said something, you said y'all came to the conclusion of the 2 C's. Here's what I would encourage our branch managers. What we're seeing is you got to master the 2 C's. One of them is concessions. You got to help your teams and loan officers. You got to minimize concessions if you want to drive profits. And the other one, which is at the marketing animals, it's the theme of our whole fourth quarter, which is conversion. And man, what a great conversation, Dave. I think we're constantly trying or talking. You hear people say, hey, I need to go get more. And what we have found, Dave, and this is what's shocking, is I can look at somebody's business right now and look at the 4 main activities that they're doing. And what you'll find is most people could double their monthly loan volume by converting what they already have.
Yeah, just improving conversion. And just to show a couple numbers for anyone that's like, oh, what interview are you talking about? And
Dude, it was a great interview. I sent it to all our teams, man. And I said, you got to watch this. We actually started building a loan officer scorecard because of it. Dude, it was powerful, man. Good stuff.
Well, I'm going to put a link to this interview down below. Also, a link to my last interview with Steve. It was something about how loan officers can become millionaires. It was
offers minus no's equal money. Yep.
And it's had thousands of views. So guys, I'll put it down below. But here's the deal, guys. This is just a reality. This is an anonymized case study from a typical IMB, and top tier loan officers at this IMB are making in profit $2,400 per file. Yeah. So by the way, this has nothing to do with how many loans they close, what their volume is. It has to do with their overall profitability of the organization. Yeah. Second tier, Jim does hundreds of these, and he says sometimes they're making money, sometimes they're losing money. In this case, they were losing a little bit. And then the bottom tier, guys,
this was shocking, man.
And this is not like some unusual case study. And the big takeaway when I asked Jim, what are the differences? Concessions and conversion. Mm-hmm. And so guys, I just want to really hit home. If you're not measuring this stuff, you need to start measuring it. If you're a C-suite executive watching this, are you measuring your pipeline, your funnel this way? A loan started, no RESP app, it never moved forward. What did that cost you? Yeah. It was originated and it was withdrawn. What did that cost you? What are the cost of concessions? This particular funnel analysis doesn't have concessions, although with this particular lender, it was over 40 basis points. So we're talking about total leakage from the funnel is over 100 basis points. Yeah. And guys, you can fix this. So first of all, if you're watching this, are you measuring conversion and concession? Because we all know you can't manage what you can't measure. And what gets measured improves. So that is the takeaway. So Steve, before you go, this is a Moneyball algorithm that we put together, kind of flipping the script, putting loans closed, volume at the bottom. Yep. Putting conversion in the funnel at the top, putting concessions number 2. And then number 3, what about conversion above the funnel? Like look at your whole database. How many of those loans are you converting? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I think here's the thing. You and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. If owners and team leads or branch managers who run true P&Ls would have added an additional 10 to 20 basis points to the bottom line, they wouldn't have lost money. They would have either broke even or made money. Right. And I think it's so eye-opening. You were telling me you did a case study, and I remember I called you back. I'm like, bro, the selling point for MortgageCoach is you can add 10 basis points to the bottom line. I mean, last year was brutal. And so what was it like you guys did utilizing MortgageCoach in your selling process, reduce concessions anywhere from 10 to one case study for you? How much was it? 60, 70 basis points?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it goes back to, look, it doesn't matter how many loans and volume you fund. It matters how much money you keep at the end of the day. So when I see that, are we converting more of what we already have? People think, Dave, hey, listen, for your loan officers, here's the biggest thing on the street. I don't want to make another cold call. Well, guess what? You don't have to make another cold call. Let's convert what you're doing on your Just Ask Tuesday update. Let's convert more of what you're doing on database day. What are you doing on your Thursday pre-approved and looking? And then with your agent partners that are actively already referring you business, are we learning to say goodbye by asking for even more business? And do we know the 4 parts of sales and the 9 scripts that'll literally help you double digit W2 $1 million in your mortgage business? And that's where I think, Dave, we've been focusing. The first part of the year, it was shocking. In the marketing animals, we not only get to help thousands of members, but we literally touch tens of thousands of members and people a month. And it was shocking. The first part of the year, Dave, it was about go get more. Why? Because all of the agents that you had turned into unqualified agents. So agents that were doing 10 transactions that were buy side, man, all of a sudden it turned off on them. So the first of the year was go get more. And now that you've got more, the name of the game is let's convert, whether it's a relationally referred lead at the top of the funnel or as they go through the process. Hey, I'll give you an example. How many people have 90-day unconverted leads that have fallen off? Well, did you know this? 85% of leads convert more after 90 days. Most people don't even know that leads convert 85% better after 90 days. And why? Because what happens is you've got a lead that comes in, they hit your sales boomerang, they've come in, they started to express interest. There's an enormous amount of attention in the first 30 days, and everybody forgets them after 90 days. Well, let's convert some of those old unconverted leads and you'll make more money. When we're having conversations, are you asking for the business? Are you asking, hey, do you have a friend, family, coworker looking to buy, sell, or refinance? Can I count on you when you have someone to call me so that I can reach out? I'd love to help another great family like you. And so, Dave, I think it's conversion is in the small things. It's in, it's in the conversation. It's in the scripting. We call it design conversations. It's in your process. It's in, are you utilizing MortgageCoach? Are you reducing concessions? So there's a lot to be said here, my friend.
All right.
And a lot of it came from our conversation, man. I've just, you left me thinking for a couple of days. And so I came back and started writing content and dropping it on the podcast. Hey, let me say this. If somebody's saying, Steve, you got some cool stuff, would love to learn more about what you're doing, can I invite them to Loan Officer Breakfast Club? We do something cool for the industry. The Mortgage Marketing Animals, our buddy Frank Garay runs it Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 9 a.m. It's absolutely free, no strings attached. I think this morning we had 500 loan officers show up from all over the country, all over different organizations, brokers, non-QM, IMBs. It didn't matter, but it's with one sole purpose to really have a great 30-minute call on how to continue to close even more business in today's environment. Hey, and let me tell you this, we've seen 22.9% increase in our members' production in the last 4 months. And when most people are saying, dude, the sky's falling, we're not making as much, we're not closing as much, we're seeing people increase 22.9%. And a big part of it is what we're doing as our gift to the industry, the Loan Officer Breakfast Club. So go to loanofficerbreakfastclub.com. Absolutely free. And Dave, you've been on there, and it's just such a cool place where a ton of people show up each morning just to find out what can we be doing to close even more business and really focusing on conversion. That's what this fourth quarter theme is.
No doubt. So it's been a fantastic call. I'm going to put links to a few of the other referenced assets down below, a link to your slides. Those slides were awesome. Guys, there are loan officers closing lots of business in this market. Again, I've been interviewing them. Everybody I interview is killing it. They're gaining market share. The market is harder. Yes, they are absolutely having to overcome more obstacles and having to really work harder to triangulate the needs for consumers. There's some macro issues like interest rates and the inventory crisis that are like really, really difficult. But there are loan officers that are selling homes, helping realtors get listings, helping realtors go from pre-approval to under contract really well. There's over 7,000 loan officers doing over 100 loans this year right now. So be sure to check out the Breakfast Club. We'll put a link down below to that. Steve, any closing thoughts before we close it out?
Yeah, my encouragement to you is don't give up. You know, the four tenets that I really believe will help you have an exceptional business is, number one, commit to your goals, which means you have a resolve that you'll do whatever it takes. And that's actually the second thing is you got to make a commitment to your goals. You've got to execute at the highest level. That's number two. Commit, execute, do what it takes. And the last one is celebrate the gains. And if you'll commit, show up every single day and execute based on that commitment, you'll do what it takes. Not say I'm trying, I'm hoping, I think it'll work out, but do what it takes. And then as you make progress in today's marketplace, celebrate the gains. And listen, they may not feel like gains. Sometimes taking ground in a season is just holding your ground. And my encouragement is to stay connected to Dave, stay connected to this community, because it's an encouraging community. And if you'll follow those four, you'll see massive success, because this business is truly a gift. And we get the opportunity each and every day to make a difference in the lives of the families we serve. And in doing that at a high level with great skills and a true belief that we live a life of freedom. And my encouragement is don't give up, keep pushing, keep running, keep striving, show up every single day, because leaders lead and leaders lead. So, all right, guys.
You're the man. Appreciate you very
much. Hey, brother,
much.
I appreciate you, man. Always.
If you got value from this, give it a like, share it with your mortgage friends, and thanks for everybody's time.